Today, I wanted to get a little vulnerable with you guys because I feel like this is something that so many people relate to and feel and experience and go through. And that is just the loneliness of your 20s, your brain fully developing, and everything that comes along with that, and kind of trying to figure yourself out, figure your vibe out, like who am I? It can be a lot, so let's talk about it. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to HelloFresh. HelloFresh is such a game changer. You get pre-portioned ingredients, super easy step-by-step recipes, and dinner is ready in way less time than it takes to even figure out what you would want to eat. Good, fresh, high-quality ingredients that actually taste good and are, again, easy to make. Right now, HelloFresh is hooking you up with 10 free meals as well as free shipping on your first box if you use my link and code, which I will put down below. So definitely get on that order and take advantage. Again, that is 10 free meals and free shipping. You're welcome. So I remember when I first moved to New York, around like when I first moved, I was hanging out with a friend who already lives out here, and he asked me, "Have you felt the loneliness yet?" And at the time, I really hadn't. Like, I was still just kind of on that high of being surrounded by so many people all the time. And like, I just felt, I think, really isolated. It's not even like lonely, but like definitely isolated in LA. And that's part of why I wanted to move to like a more walkable city and just a place where there was more people. So I remember at that time telling him, like, no, like I haven't. But now I feel like it's really starting to hit, and it's kind of been hitting. And it's just kind of it's a weird feeling because it's like my mind will just feel like a scramble. First of all, getting older, your brain fully developing. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I just feel a lot more selective of who I want to invest time into having a friendship with. And I just feel like more easily annoyed by people. And I don't mean that to sound condescending or rude, or like it's not like I think I'm better than anyone. But you know the vibe of like when a girly just keeps making bad decisions, whether that's like in relationships or dating or like her life. It's like obviously I would be there for a friend who like needs me, but there's a difference between being there for a friend and then just feeling like a friend is like using you for therapy, or like just to dump their emotional baggage on, or it's even just hard to witness and be around when, like, I know for myself, I want to level up and like continually level up. I want to like be selective with my time, want to be selective with which guys I'm around or who I'm choosing to date. And so when you're around certain girls, they will just by being friends with them, by being associated with them, you're gonna be in like worse situations because like they don't care about that or they're not aware of it. And of course that is a generalization, but I feel like just being aware of that makes you just naturally a lot more selective and kind of like okay, like I don't know. So that's the thing. It's like I would rather be alone than with people who aren't real friends, or like who are kind of bringing the vibes down, or like, oh, I'm just going along with it because better than nothing, you know? But then it's like, okay, I still kind of like, I feel like odd. I don't know. And then for me as well, it's like there's so many things I could always be doing. Like with social media, with content creation, I always feel like I'm behind. Like there's always room to catch up. I could always go to the gym. Like there's a lot of just personal things I want to do and I need to do every day. So that also makes it very easy to just be alone because I'm like, I just need to get this stuff done. But then sometimes there'll just be a day and I'm like, oh my God, like it would be so fun to like go do something, or like, and it's like, yeah, you can do things alone, but sometimes it's like, I don't always want to do that. Like, I just don't. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. Like, I think, especially when you, like, once you get out there, it's fun. Like, sometimes the idea of doing it or like eating alone or just like going to an event alone or something is kind of daunting, but once you're there, it's like easier. You actually have fun. But I also will like overthink things. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's gonna be like so much effort to like get ready, get dressed, and then go all the way over there. And like, I don't even know what if I'm uncomfortable, or like I don't actually want to be by myself, or it's just like awkward. And so I'll just be like, well, I might as well just get these things off my to-do list done and like be productive. But then it's like, baby, you're spending like all your time alone. Like, I don't know. So it's really hard to, I guess, find the time to even make friends or like put yourself out there. And then I think it's also very easy to feel FOMO, like from watching people's IG stories or like hearing about their stories. But then it's like if you really listen, most people aren't like, social media is not real life. And just because someone has a lot of friends or something, that doesn't really mean they're a good person or that they're happy or happy with themselves. I've said this before, but you know the vibe of someone who calls everybody their best friend and it seems like they have so many friends and it's like they're actually like super fake and like just actually kind of annoying to be around and not genuine. It's like, ew, I don't want to be around that. So it's like hard to figure out what your type of friends would be when you're still kind of trying to like figure out what you like, what's important to you, and just what you even want to be doing. And then I'm also like, what would I even be doing? Like, what is it that I want to do where I feel like, oh, I need a friend? Because I definitely have a good support system with like my family and like the close friends that I do have. So it's like, do I just want to be having fun? But then sometimes if I'm having too much fun or going out too much, it's like, okay, I need to chill. Like I don't want to be like going out all the time. I like my sleep. I like not drinking. I like having structure in my life. So it's like, what? I think that's the thing. You have to ask yourself what your ideal vision is and then align yourself with that instead of just like in the moment being like, oh, I'm dissatisfied or oh, I feel off. Like it's very easy to get stuck in that cycle of thinking. Look at me answering my own questions. I think for me, I feel the best when I am around other people and I'm socializing in like a way, not just like awkwardly, but like, it's important to have social connections, but then also balancing that with, my health and wellness, getting enough sleep. Like, people do not be prioritizing their sleep. You know how many times? That's the thing. It's hard. Let me know if y'all relate. It's hard to be a baddie but also be on your health and wellness vibes. And I think also it depends on like your definition of baddie. But like sometimes I think people think I want to be out all night or something. And it's like, no, like no, I want to go do my nighttime routine, night night, like good night. I don't want to drink all the time. I don't want to like do things that just aren't worth my time. And that also kind of excludes a lot of opportunities because people just think that's just how most people are social. So it's kind of figuring out like what it looks like, what I guess like for myself, what it would look like for myself. And going back to the ideal vision, I think actually something I was thinking about at the beginning of this month was like I want to go out like 3 times a week and not like out, like not to the bars or the clubs, but just like, that could be literally just working at a coffee shop, like doing work at a coffee shop one of the days, going on a date one of the days, and then like doing something with a friend the other one of the days. And if one of those things is like, oh, I'm going out or going to dinner, like I can count that. But I think consciously making it priority also kind of shifts things because I think it's very easy for me to be in my routine by myself and like again just being healthy and being like quote unquote productive. But then I just start feeling like too in my head and just too isolated and I don't like that. So it's finding the balance. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm posting this later in the week, so hopefully by then, hopefully I've gone out a couple times, question mark. But that's all we can do, right? Be aware that we're feeling off or that something's not working. Ask ourselves, how would I like to feel? What is my ideal vision? And then coming up with something that you can do today or like this week that aligns yourself with that vision. Most people really want to change or want something in their life to change, but they just don't know where to start. And I think that's a really realistic way to start. It's actually achievable. Like you're in control and you're working towards something that you want. And you also, that's health coaching, all that you have to identify why it's important to you and why you want to do that. So let me think. For myself, this is important because I like feeling connected with others. I like, having life experiences, living my life. I like being around people. People are very interesting to me. Even when I get annoyed, it's like still stories. So that's the vibes. Okay, I think that's my plan. Let me know what you have done for this. I know it's always like, oh, take a class, do something you're interested in. It's like, babe, yeah, true. If you want to do that. Sometimes the idea of like finding a class I would want and signing up sounds a little, overwhelming, but okay. 3 times a week. maybe 2 times a week, depending on the week. We're gonna see. But yeah, I should be able to do that, to be honest. But yeah, I did a whole episode last week on getting older and why you shouldn't be scared and all of that. And honestly, something kind of odd about getting older is like you realize time actually be passing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're young, when you're even in your early 20s, it's like each year isn't, I don't know, like it's like, oh, I have so much time in the world. Like it doesn't really matter. But now it's like, oh my God, like I only have a couple years left in my 20s and like oh my God, like life just really comes at you and it's kind of overwhelming, because it's like it can be challenging to find that balance of like routine, health, stability, peace, but then also like I want to live my life in the sense of like I don't know if everyone goes through this. I'm very like routine oriented, but I also like to pop out, so it's like conflicting. The Virgo and the Leo sides conflicting within me. It's almost Leo's, or it's almost Virgo season too. I think it's also important to remember that literally nobody has it figured out. And there's never a point you reach in life, like literally anybody, where you're like, oh, this is it, period, because everyone is getting older, everyone's, going through different things. And you always have to be adjusting what you're doing and your thoughts and like your morning routine, like literally everything to achieve, balance and neutral. And it's always going to look differently, like literally throughout every stage of life. So nobody has it figured out, and even if someone does, it's like things are going to change for them, for better or for worse, knock on wood. But I think it's normal to feel, but it's like, it's important to remember you can do something about this. You just have to have an open mind and be willing to maybe like be uncomfortable. And that's where I think also manifestation comes in. But it's so true. It's like if you're only kind of noticing, like to put a literal realistic spin on manifestation and just kind of like what you're focusing on and making it a reality. If you are only thinking about something, like for example, let's use my scenario. If I'm only realizing, oh, I'm lonely or like I want to be out more, I want to be around people more when I'm at the lowest point of feeling lonely, but then I'm just like brushing it off and I go do something else and like I don't think about it, that's the only time it's going to happen or I'm going to be conscious of it is when I'm already at the lowest point. Versus if I feel that and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something about this so I don't feel like this again or I feel less of this and I get closer to what I actually want and my ideal vision, you're gonna be thinking about it more like not at the lowest point. So it's like, okay, it's like maintenance, It's like, okay, let's do all this to prevent that. Does that make sense? That just made so much sense in my mind, but I hope I articulated it correctly. If you don't like your decor, but you're only noticing it, like you're when you're in a rush and you're like, oh, I hate this decor, and then you just move on, it's like nothing's gonna get done about the decor. Like you have to actually consciously like make a plan and like get the new items and take the old items out and like put some work towards that. And then you're like, I feel so refreshed and free. Like, thank God I made those changes. It's not just like, oh my God, like, there's more space in between like when you're noticing something or realizing it by the time it's at its lowest point. Does that make sense? Limiting screen time, getting out and about more, being cute. I don't know. I'm kind of ready for this new era and chapter, and I don't necessarily know what what it's gonna be, but I feel just like ready for a change, and I feel like I really just want to get out of my comfort zone more because I hate when that is like what's holding me back. Is like I could literally go for something or go for an opportunity or like try something new or creative, but literally just my own like discomfort is what's holding me back. It's like, babe, you're in your own way. Like there are no other barriers. You just have to do it, but you're like scared or like feel awkward. So that's another thing. It's like, okay, what's something I could do about this? I could make myself feel uncomfortable a couple times a week. Like give myself a reward. But yeah, life is just constantly adjusting to the circumstances and trying to get that homeostasis, if we will. Also, on that note, I think part of my plan of going out 3 times a week might include some dates. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't even remember the last date I was on. Like, I have not dated this year. Should I even like talk about it? Let's take advantage of the rest of the summer, enjoy ourselves. Let's start to prepare for fall by making our fall Pinterest boards and going into it with a plan. I don't know if I don't think I get seasonal depression, but I think I definitely just like don't really love the vibes. Like again, I can't really get in my routine and like be cozy, but like sometimes it's, babe, I need a break, you know? So going into it with a plan, we're gonna start taking our vitamin D, probably in a couple months, but it's very easy to feel overwhelmed and like everything's going wrong or like I don't know what to do or like you're spiraling. So when you can take a pause, take a breath, ask yourself what is your ideal vision, write it down, TBH, really just let your mind be free, and then come up with like a small thing you can do this week to align yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. That's something else I will do. I think especially when it comes to like content or like I'm gonna plan my monthly content and I'm like, oh, I can do all this, like period. And then it's like I like no, no. Chill, take a step back. Be realistic so you don't set yourself up for failure, you know? So I know this episode was a little shorter than normal, but I didn't want to include any like LOLs or random things when I just really wanted to focus on this message. I know it was very short, so let me know what you want me to talk about next week. If you have any questions or anything you would add on to this that has helped you, it's like, it's hard to be a girly pop sometimes. It's hard to be a person sometimes. It's like, why do things feel so awkward? I hate that. But it's like, okay, this is an opportunity to grow. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Again, don't forget to check out HelloFresh, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.